What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis hits back at Dillian Whyte after comments ranking his place in history next to Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. Lennox Lewis has laughed off the comments from Dillian Whyte regarding his place in history next to the other heavyweights of his era. During a recent interview, Whyte spoke of his admiration of Evander Holyfield, appearing to rank him as top dog from the 1990s. Whyte said on Sirius XM, he said, "I think Evander Holyfield should be higher than Mike Tyson in history. Holyfield fought everyone. He fought Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, he fought Michael Moore, and he fought Riddick Bowe. Plus, he fought George Foreman. Mike Tyson didn't even fight all those guys. He only fought Lennox Lewis, and he lost to Lennox Lewis. And I believe Evander Holyfield, there is a case in saying that he won both fights against Lennox Lewis." Okay, and of course, Lennox Lewis has bounced back, and he said, well, it looks like Dillian Whyte has, we're going by the Eugenia Williams School of Boxing. And if you don't know who that is, they call her Jean. She was the one of the judges that scored it for Holyfield in the first fight, which if anybody saw that fight, you know that Lennox Lewis won that fight. Square none, bar none. Okay. It's good that Lennox Lewis has a sense of humor, but you know one thing about Lennox Lewis is that he will respond. So he will counterpunch, and I think it's perfect time to do so because, Dillian Whyte is saying that, hey, it's a chance that Lennox Lewis lost both times to Evander Holyfield, right? But I look at Dillian Whyte and I look at Lennox Lewis. They have a lot in common, don't they? They had to fight hard for where they are. They're both from Jamaican descent, right? Lennox Lewis, I know is more gifted. He's one of them. He is one of the most technically sound boxers that I know today. Even though I didn't care for him coming up, he made me respect him. But as far as Evander Holyfield goes, Evander Holyfield, I do feel that his, like I said yesterday, that his record was better than Lennox Lewis's. But I think Lennox Lewis was ducked by Riddick Bowe, and I think that had a lot to do with it. Lennox Lewis was the guy that people hardly didn't really want to fight. He wasn't the most popular heavyweight. People, obviously, the people judged against him because of his popularity. I think the Evander Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis first fight was a popularity contest. I just thought that. I just think because he was from the UK or fighting for the UK or fighting in the UK or whatever, that he was criticized and ridiculed and discriminated against. Dillian Whyte was on one. I understand that, but to say that there is a case, and I know he couldn't blatantly say, oh, well, hey, Evander Holyfield really beat Lennox Lewis. He didn't go that far into saying that, people, if you read it. He said that there's a case that Evander Holyfield beat Lennox Lewis twice, okay? But, I mean, the second fight was by far, more competitive, way more competitive than the first fight. But, again, Lennox Lewis laughs it off because he knows that's pretty much ludicrous in thinking that Evander Holyfield beat him in a professional fight or any other fights that they fought, But I wonder if there is any kind of underlying beef between Dillian Whyte and Lennox Lewis because, maybe that's deep-rooted. We don't know. I don't know their personal relationship, but a lot of times a person's personal feelings can get intertwined with how a person's business relationship is or how they were, professionally. So, but anyway, just giving you guys an update on Lennox Lewis responding back to Dillian Whyte. You guys tell me what you think of Lennox Lewis comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.